Okay, Alex. So we've been at NASSCOM 2010 and going around and meeting a lot of people. I mean, it's been chief executives about every half an hour, I think.
It's been amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think your voice is about as croaky as mine at the moment. Yeah, we've met 15 chief executives to date. I think we've had some really interesting different views, which I think would be great when we put the white paper together.
Yeah, so I mean, nobody's had a chance to sort of sit back and look at the material and reflect on it. But after sort of 3 days of talking to people, what is some of the standout points or maybe observations that surprised you?
Well, I think first of all, I wasn't sure what to expect in 2010. In 2009, it was subdued. There were a number of elephants in the room that people didn't talk about.
So none of that was on the formal agenda last year, was it?
No, the recession wasn't on the agenda. Satya was talked about quietly. The only thing that was actually talked about was the terrorist attack the previous year. So I was not sure whether this year would be as successful, and it's turned out to be hugely successful. I think with over 1,650 delegates, it's the largest ever. So I've been very pleasantly surprised at what's happened this year. I think what are my takeaways? I think my first takeaway is people have gone from being really gloomy to being, someone described it as NASSCOM's got its swagger back.
Yeah.
I think perhaps there may be a slight overreaction at the moment. I think there are still problems, and I know in some of the interviews that you and I did, people said perhaps people have gone from very negative to very positive.
Yeah.
But I think I've got 3 key takeaways, and they're all to do with the maturity of NASSCOM, because in previous years NASSCOM was very much an Indian conference. Now it's very much a global conference held in India, and I think the market has really matured. So my 3 takeaways are: firstly, people are no longer talking about cost. People are no longer talking about wage arbitrage.
Yeah.
People are talking about value. People are talking about providing value to their customers, and that's a real change from 3 or 4 years ago, when it was just the cost per hour and the cost of an individual. So I think that's really, really very key. The second thing that I think I've noticed is there's been a move from talking about projects to talking about platforms. So the business is very much, we'll take away your legacy, we'll do whatever you want, we'll put a team on board. People are now saying, we've got a platform that we've developed for small and medium-sized companies. We've got a platform that we've developed for a particular sector, and saying to the customer base, you adopt our platform. I think that's really mature. And my third takeaway is that people are talking about outcome-based pricing rather than input-based pricing.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really interesting, whether the people can make that stick, because the industry has always been built up on the cost of a number of people, and now they're saying we're going to be paying for the cost of a transaction. So I think it's been an excellent conference. I think it's been really interesting when we summarise the findings.
Yeah.
And I look forward to 2011.
Great. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.